Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, I'm working on stuff. Hello? It's me. I don't know why I started saying hello instead of being a normal person. I'm still setting myself up. Drop my bot into chat. Although I am rewriting the bot. Although when rewriting the bot, that also means I need to assign it a new token as well. Actually, no, I can reuse the token. Yeah, because my bot's using, it's written in Golang, but I was testing a little Highlang. Oh baby. How fancy. Doing a little bit of Highlang. Which is a Python Lisp, which means that you have direct access to a bunch of the super fancy Python stuff. And then because it's also a Python Lisp, it means that Python interrupt is easy, which means that if you have Python interrupt, you can pretty much go anywhere you want, which is kind of funny. Well, I think it's amusing. I don't know if it's funny or not. Anyways, give me one sec. I'm pulling up some random BS. All right, here we go. Boom. We're in. Actually, that's not quite right. Because that is, hold on, I'm just clicking on a bunch of random stuff at this point. I don't remember why. Why am I clicking on all this stuff? Where was I going with this? I clicked on something and it looked interesting, but now I can't see it anymore. Oh, this is it. Okay, click here, close, 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 close. Okay, cool. We're in. Anyways, this is Highbot. That's not what we're working on today, but it is somewhat amusing, in my opinion. Hold on, I want to do one more thing. Let me do one more thing. Yeah, I'm running this with Python 3.10 because I for whatever reason, I'm still using the same container service that I was previously, that I used for my previous bots. But I think one of the difficulties, so I'm currently everything's still on Replit, and I'm using Replit's whatever and whatnots. Oop, get me out of here. I'm using their container service, and then for whatever reason, my app tends to crash their container service, which is slightly amusing, but there's no match statement in their version of Pythons. So they're using Python 3.8, I think, yeah. But I'm not sure if I can get a more recent version of Python. Actually, I could probably just Google that. Replit, Python 3.10. Yeah. What do you got? Okay. Okay, cool. So you can get Python 3.10. You just have to be a little clever with it, if you will. Okay, I mean, that'll work. We'll get rid of this. One more thing, though. One really quick thing. So, do repo, then return. Hold on. I have this on my other monitor. I'm just a big weirdo. Highbot. I'm not going to do the setup just yet, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Also, I think the bot is actually a little incorrect, because if you go into the bot, I do like how the syntax, or how Godot's syntax is actually very close to this syntax. But if you do, let me see, repo, it'll give you the repo, right? But then if you do question mark like that, yeah. So any extraneous question marks will just be replaced. I need to only replace once, but I don't remember how to do that in Python. And this isn't even Python, this is Highlang. But you can use just regular dot syntax, which is amusing. Also, I should be, yeah. This sends no notifications, and also should not ping people, but that's fine. All right, cool. Highbot. Let's turn off Highbot. Although I like the idea that it's just you could insert in another just completely bonkers programming language. So in addition to Python, C++, and Rust that I'm using in this project here, I could also just use Highlang. And then also I have GD Lisp, which takes a lot of inspiration from Highlang. I do like Highlang. Highlang, pretty sick. Just need to make sure I never accidentally look at run.sh, otherwise I'll be showing off my token. Ew. Let's see. Now we're into it. So this is where we're at. VRM is still super broken, but we'll get around to it. No GUI selector, because there's only one registered GUI anyways. So this stuff all works. I need to do presets now. Okay, that's what I was doing, not this. Bones, presets. This is presets. This is the entire page of stuff. Oh yeah, this is what I was working on. So I was making the this thing. So presets. You can click on it. This should also start out like selected. Let me see. Set up. Toggle page, initial page. Does that not start off selected? What does toggle page do? No. Wait. This, yeah, base tree layouts, but then bone display. Don't I manually select something? Oh, it's not bone display, it's just bones. Bones. Yeah, select. So I need to grab the initial page, blah, blah. Add page, res. Toggle page, initial page, and then also we can grab it from pages, initial. No, you can't. That's not how you do it. Should select bool equals false. So by default, we don't do anything with it, really. But this one, if should select tree item, select tree column, something like that, right? That's how this works. Yeah. So we go back to here. Lots of trial and error. That's just how I program. So that also nothing changed because I haven't changed anything over here. So true. Something like that, right? So presets, phenomenal. Starts out selected, but also it's the only thing that you can see. One sec. I'm gonna turn on some tunes on my side. You can't hear it, but I can. They've just stopped playing stream music entirely. I don't know, because I feel like most people don't appreciate listening to it, which is fair. Mostly because I have to play everything that is not content IDable. Although some of my tracks have been content ID matched anyways. Because as it turns out, there's quite a few musicians out there, or I shouldn't say musicians, producers out there who use the default instruments in FL Studio. Which is kind of funny. If it works, it works, I suppose. Hold on. Default runner. Where is... Which is runner, right? Which is the... one of the built-in screens. Find runner, create GUI, select. Actually, preset up, add child. No, create view. Create view. That's what we want. Select GUI toggle. Set pressed no signal. So it's true, but then I also need to have. I need to have query extensions for type. Oh, okay, I can do this. GUI selectable, or I guess available GUI count. So we'll set it as 0 for now. And I believe, actually, what does create GUI select? Query extensions for type. Yeah, this is a bit weird. All right, we can do this. Get selectable GUI count. Right, something like that. It's an integer, or it returns an integer anyways. Var return value, some sort of int. We'll call it 0. Return R. Right, and we'll grab this code here. We don't really need this. Well, we'll keep it here. We'll think about it. Query extensions for type, but then I also always use the default, right? Yeah. We always just have the default GUI, so it's always going to be at least one. Yeah. Then here, we don't need to store this as a variable. We can just query it whenever we need to. So, actually, no, we do need to query it like this. Because create view needs to know about how many GUIs there are. Initial page. Yes. Available GUI count is equal to get selectable GUI count. We'll call it selectable, not available. Selectable GUI count. Something like that, right? So selectable GUI count. Then here in create view, here, true if selectable GUI count is greater than 1, else false. Right? Something like that. I think a lot of this stuff I should actually be preloading. Yeah, so we can show the GUI selector, but if there's only one GUI, just default it to false. It makes no difference, right? Because there's only the default GUI anyways. What the heck? I think that was my computer fan. Yeah, I think I need to replace one of my RAM sticks, unfortunately. What a pain. What a pain. Also, how did these determine how big they're supposed to be? Anyways, we'll get around to that. Yeah, I think I need to replace one of my RAM sticks, or sticks of RAM, not RAM sticks. Who says RAM sticks? It's sticks of RAM. Yeah, because I don't know, it's usually only ever when I run C++ programs, so it could still totally be me, but I have been blue screening. I've been a pretty okay amount, but I'm not sure what's causing it. Like, I think it's like a memory leak, because whenever it blue screens, it gives me like a, you know, a little message that says something like, you know, stuff's broken, etc., etc. Or it's a memory access violation. Yeah. Also, here I should not be setting the split offset myself. It's kind of an anti-pattern, in my opinion, to do things via the UI too much. When you have something like this, so we have setup. So here we can have add a helper function here, basically like a set get, but it'll be tree is equal to tree. Should probably call this one tree. Right, but then this will break pretty much everything else. But I'm not sure why I haven't been following standard naming conventions, because actually this should not be, most of these variables should not be accessible anywhere else, but whatever. So tree is equal to ptree, and then I need to figure out how big the tree should be. So we can do var parents is equal to hopefully some sort of node, right? Get parents. If parents is control, if it's a control, then we can figure things out. If it's not a control, that's probably a problem. So if not parent is control, so this is the negative path. So if not parent is control, then we'll do tree, not tree. Base tree layout. Should be, most of these should be H-split containers. What is base layout? Base layout is some sort of control. Actually, wait a minute. I need to do this. So if not self is some sort of split container, then we'll just return. Oh, are you not allowed to do that? Value of will never be an instance of split container. Well, yeah, you know. Okay. Self is class. Sure. Self is class split container. Something like that. All right, so this needs to be is class control. So it's true if the object inherits from the given class. See also get class. Does not take class name declarations into account. Yes, that's true. For that name, yep. So if we're not a split container, just don't do anything because it's just too complicated at that point. So I guess this will be like a logger debug. Try to set, what are these called? Split offsets? Split offset on but was not a split container. Something like that, right? Try to set split offset, but name was not a split container. That makes sense to me. This one should be probably just a logger debug as well. So debug parent was not a control using window size for offset comparison. Yeah. So split offset. Yeah, I think you can do set. Well, oh, this is actually gonna break, but we can do like this. So property split offset is equal to OS window size times 0.3. That's roughly it. So we can do this. So offset ratio. So this is the default. I think 0.3, I'll call it 0.2. 0.2, 20%, not too bad. Split offset ratio, else set split offset is equal to parent. What do controls have on them? This is called the rect size. Rect size dot x times split offset ratio. Yeah. So this is set tree. So I should be using this whenever I call set tree or call whatever, right? Or set the tree here. So this is tree, or we'll do set tree, tree, something like that. And then we can change how model works. Actually, we don't need to change how model works. We can just see if this works correctly for model, I suppose. Oh, actually, this didn't work for this at all. Was there anything in the debug thing? No. But it set the split offset to basically 0, which is wrong. Model, that's also wrong. What are you doing? I thought that was pretty smart. Maybe it wasn't. This is not how it works. Okay. So runner 1.6. Oh. That's not right. It's actually very wrong. So that should be the rect size, is that not? Hold on. That was in base tree layout. So parent is a tab container. Tab container has a rect size of nothing. Interesting. Because it's very small right now, but why? That's not true. This is more true. Yeah, see, that's the tab container. Oh, it's because it doesn't have time to set up. That's such a pain. I wonder if I can manually emit. Like here, I can manually emit ready. It's a bit weird. Emit signal. Ready. Okay. I suppose then we also need to yield a get tree. Idle frame, something like that, just to give it enough time for it to update. Yeah, see, then it's a bit more accurate. Then we go here, model. Yeah, yeah, so that's correct. This is wrong because this actually uses a different thing. Yeah. But we do need to, that is so awkward. Like basically we kind of spoof ourselves being ready. We spoof a ready signal and then wait for the parent to get ready and then we, and then we get ready ourselves. I suppose what we could do is emit ready and then yield until the parent is ready, which might be a bit more accurate. So we yield parent ready. Oh, there's no parent. It's get parent. Some sort of node. So I'm pretty sure that will work as well. Oh, that is awkward for sure. Wait, what? See, that's so wrong though, but this also, is that true? Tab, oh, because we need to, no, I actually don't really know. Okay, here's what we can do. We can do like func wait for parents, something like that. It's basically an async function. Gives you back nothing. Well, it'll give you back a GD script function state, but it can give you back a bunch of stuff anyways. So we'll do emit signal ready, right? Something like that, and then we'll yield get parent. We'll wait for the parent to be ready, and then just return OK. Something like that, right? And then also yield get tree idle frame. So maybe that'll be okay. It's a bit weird, to be sure. So we'll yield wait for parent. Yeah, that might work. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one. It's a weird one, but it'll do. I think also you can do this, right? Self tree is equal to tree, which will trigger the set get as well. Yeah, okay, cool. But I don't know. I think if I already have direct access to the setter getter, I might as well. Right? But then here, bones, blah, blah. So we'll do the same thing. Set tree, which is tree, phenomenal. And then we hit it with a yield, waits for parent. Something like that. So bones has it, presets will also need it. So this will be set tree. Left tree. Although I feel like for a lot of these, I should just be like, wait for parents, right? Actually, what if I do this? So I don't even do any of this garbage, but then in base tree layouts, because of base layout has pre-setup. So in pre-setup, what we can do in base tree layout, func pre-setup. Yeah, we can do the yield there. Oh, but then we can't, I can't. Otherwise, this will break. Unless I explicitly make it so every setup function will always return something, right? So I could do that, right? So we could always just yield until they're completed. Yeah, I could do that, right? That's not hard. So return an int. So just okay, right? That's really quick. But then we can also hit it with a yield. It's something like that, right? So by default, these will all be kind of weirdo functions, I suppose. But this allows me to force the parents objects to, you know, finish properly. Something like that. So this doesn't use the result pattern that I've been using somewhat recently because there's not really a lot of reason to even use results. I guess I could. You know what? I have a result. I might as well. It's cheap. It's cheap. Something like that. We'll go over here. This returns a result. Like that. And then here in the base layout, what we'll do is we'll yield. So we just wait a little bit for every single one of them to be completed. Although I feel like this might break. I feel like this might break if there's no yield. Yeah, okay, hold on. Do need to change a bunch of other things as well. So this is model, question mark. No, this is settings. So turns this. One of those. Send me. First argument, a yield not of type objects. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I wish I had the... Let me think. Hold on, pre-set up. And then if ret is gd script function state, yield on that, and then we'll just do the same thing over and over again. Right? That seems really complicated. Yeah, that seems really complicated. But it makes it really tough though, because I do need to wait for some of these steps to be complete. And if they're not complete, then I don't want to move on to the next step. So this might be the only option, huh? Pretty gross. That's really gross. But it'll work. Actually, I mean, these don't even need to return void or whatever, or even like a result. I mean, all right, well, you might as well, right? Like anytime we return early, we should really be returning a result. Yeah. So error, ba 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 ba. I don't remember what viewer it was for. Setup error. Give this a save. Something like that. So we don't need to print there. functionality. Okay. Seems okay. So model doesn't really need to be changed. Model will figure itself out. Base tree layout does this thing where we wait for the parent to be, well, we call wait for parent and wait for that to be complete so we can finish doing all of our stuff. Here we need to check this. Hold on, if rets logger error to string if, so if this is null or the return value is error, so if this is not null, else something is super wrong, something like that, right? Unexpected operator. Oh, if, not is. Okay. That's probably valid for most of them. Okay, something is super wrong in multiple places. Sure, sure. All right, so what do we get here? So this is the breakpoint. It's null. Yeah. Hold on. Put me here. Run me again. Da-da. Pre-setup. This is in base tree late. No, this is in runner. Oh, it's because this thing never returns anything. Okay, hold on. So setup logger doesn't need to return anything. This needs to return a result. Results. Returns pretty much no op, right? Let me go here. Don't put me here. Send me. Okay. Non-existent function is error in base. Oh, I see. I need to do this. Right. Sorry. But then it's wrong now because it fixes itself too quickly now. Now it's it doesn't wait long enough. Okay. If we go into here, set a function signature doesn't match the parent. Parent signature is okay, right. Actually, just return this. All right, I'm curious as to why that's broken. Where is this? Tracking. That's fair. All right, still broken. There's so many things to fix when you make a big change like this. Okay, sure. That's fair. Results, error code. Nope. What was it? GUI setup error. Yeah, okay. So this is still broken. That's fine. That's... looks wrong. That's fine. That's fine. Actually, are these all using the default split offsets? No, these are all zeroed. This is zeroed. This is zeroed. Presets? No, that's presets. Which ones did I have implemented? Tracking. Get rid of this. I still need to figure out why this is broken, but we'll, you know, soon. So that looks correct. This looks correct. Presets. This looks really big. I don't know why. And then tracking is broken. That's weird. That's so weird. Why this? What? Settings. What? I suppose we should be returning this because that has its own yield, presumably. Maybe not. No, it doesn't make a difference. Preset up. Oh, it's because of this. Something is super wrong. That's right. And actually, this should not be doing this in logger for setting. This should be in setup logger. What am I doing? Setup logger. Setup logger doesn't need anything because there's pretty much no chance of anything going wrong there. I mean, if something does go wrong there, then you know, you've got bigger issues, I think. Yeah, okay. So these are all broken in the same way, which is at least consistent. I can work with that. That's the correct size. That's the correct size. Tracking is not the correct size. Need to check on that. What does tracking use? Tracking is the same thing, and then presets is also not the correct size, which happens sometimes. So tracking, 0, 0, 0, 0. Maybe if I double yield, if I double yield here, or basically now we're triple yielding, right? Oh, well, that didn't solve anything there. Tracking also did not solve anything. Did not solve anything. That's pretty weird. Ooh. Get me out of here. Are we running into any errors? No. Go into here. Why is this? So this has worked before. I suppose actually anything that has base tree layout is calling. Wait for. You know what? That's not true. That's not true at all. I just realized that. Where's my runner? Runner. Anything that uses pre-setup needs to additionally call. Yeah. Yeah, let's just do this here. Initial page. Remove pre-setup from here. That's just confusing, I suppose. This one should probably just be in regular setup. There's no reason for this to be in pre-setup. Okay. Oh, because this doesn't run the regular setup stuff either. Okay. Oh, but then you can't do it. Hold on. Oh, maybe that's fine. I don't know. Seems to be okay. Seems to be okay. Looks a bit big. Looks right. Looks right. Tracking not right. So I guess tracking has a custom preset as well. Wait. Oh, it's because of this thing here. Okay. So this should just be set tree. Something like that. Could honestly probably be a bit smaller. Oh, thank you very much, New Joker, for the raid. Much appreciated. How are you doing on this fine... what day is it? Tuesday? How are you doing on this fine Tuesday evening? How was your stream? I'll ask again in a few minutes once you maybe will appear. Nom's lasagna. Hello, hello, hello. How was your stream? How are you? Etc. etc. I would shout you out, but I am in the process of rewriting my bot. And I'm currently at a crossroads as to which language to write it in. So I could go back and just refactor it, because right now it's written in Golang, not Godot, Golang. It's a different language. Or I was just randomly poking at this during work today because I had a long call. Look at that. So it's High. It's written in Highlang, which is a Lisp dialect that compiles down to Python, which means that you get access to all the requisite Python stuff, which is nice. It's also kind of slow, but whatever. So I was like, you know what? That would be weird. That would be weird, and I'm into the weird stuff. So I'll figure it out. All right. That looks correct. So what I've been working on right now, and I guess feel free to peep your channel, you know, drop links into chat. I promise you won't be banned. I have not written that kind of protection into my bot just yet, so it's just me. Set tree. Hold on. Presets. Is this not using set tree? Stream is normal. Just doing some feature adding coding on my... Some feature adding on coding my own personal agile board. Agile board. So you mean like a Kanban board, or like a... Are you doing like actual agile? So you have like sprints and whatnot. The ability to put in a time for how long you think each task. Oh baby. Oh baby, time estimates, my favorites. Everything is by default will take minimum 1 week. If you ever ask me to give an estimate, that's the lowest I will go, is 1 week. Maximum I'll put is, I think the maximum time estimate I've ever given for a task is 3 months. Provide a more mathematical calculation based on user guess time to provide a more realistic time. Isn't that just like a, isn't that like, that's like a burn down chart essentially? At least I know Jira has something like that, right? But I guess a burn down chart is more like for the current sprints, but I don't remember if Jira takes into account past sprints. I'll burn you, please. I swear I don't taste good. I'll mostly just give you whatever cancerous substances are in plastic ducts. Or not plastic, rubber. But also breathing in burning rubber, not very good for you. You know, or I suppose breathing in anything that isn't like pure oxygen is not great for your lungs, but... Why isn't this... So this looks about right. I mean, this is pretty big, but I don't really mind. Because these look right? Because in here, you can see that, at least for a model, I actually have the split offset set to 0. So I'm doing this dynamically. And it should be resizing itself when I resize the entire window, but we'll get around to it. But it's only for presets that appears to set itself incorrectly. which I'm a little curious as to why that happens. I guess I won't burn you. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad I was able to wordsmith my way out of that. It's really what I'm vast at is talking. That's how I've, you know, been able to stay sane all these years, working in consulting. All right. So this has a split offset of 216, which means that this one should also have a split offset of roughly 216. But then why is presets so much bigger? Yeah, well, no, presets has a split offset of 216 as well. What? That's not right. Or actually, are these not right? What? What is this? Is this not 216? So if I change this, no, that is right. Huh? So does this just has like a bigger offset somehow, even though these windows are the same size? Eh? Presets is trying to compensate for something, yeah. You don't understand. It's a grower, or no, it's a shower, not a grower. You know, everyone else just got out the pool. We're finished, you know, getting swole, etc., etc. Do kids nowadays still say swole? That's what we use. That's what we used to call it back when I was in school. And I say that as if that was like a long time ago. It was just 5 years ago. And in the time span of 5 years, I feel like I've already been left behind. Now the kids are all saying, you know, on God, I work out, no cap. So what does that even mean, dude? Thank you for redeeming a hydrate, Stone B. Toodoo. Kolumbanwa. Alright, that's pretty much the rest of my water, but I only had like 300 milliliters left anyways. How are you? Felt like I was doing that like 15 years ago, if not longer. Oof. Yeah, no, you know, I'm starting to understand how, I guess, 30-year-olds feel. Like, I'm not even, like, I'm still in my mid-20s, but like the slang has already left me behind, which is freaking me out. You know, I suppose at some points everyone feels that way. Like, as you know, awesome didn't used to mean like cool, right? Nowadays when you say like, oh, that's awesome, what you really mean is, oh, that's cool. But I suppose like before, was it like awesome didn't used to be a thing until like the 80s or the 90s? Before that, it actually meant like awe-inspiring. 30s, yeah. You know, I don't feel you. I'm still in my, as previously mentioned, pre-30s. But maybe I should really get out more. You know, mostly just kind of spend most of my days like shit posting on like IRC chats or message boards. Awesome, sick, gnarly, radical. You know radical? Radical is pretty sick. I still say sick. I think lots of people still say sick. Gnarly, not so much. Radical, I think radical has taken on a new meaning recently. I'm not seeing anything here, by the way, that would indicate that this would be a slightly larger lad. Although I wonder, hold on. Rect, yeah. Rect. No, that's right. These are all, tracking is 16 by 16, 16.9, 16.9. This is 16.9. You know, all of these anchor points are also correct, which is the important part. Groovy. Groovy, what a garbage language. It's so slow. I also spent I spent 2 years writing Groovy code. And like, pretty much the only place people use Groovy nowadays is Jenkins, if you're still on Jenkins for whatever reason. But I shouldn't say if you are still on Jenkins. Lots of people are still on Jenkins, but you know, I guess Jenkins is like legacy code at this point. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably good enough though for presets. Here, I remember I did change something a bit earlier. Here, was it here? No, it was. The only real language is Arnold C. What is Arnold C? Arnold C. Probably not former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh my god, it actually is. Programming language based off the one-liners of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what? That's fair enough. Check the error code for Arnold C. Where are the error codes? Parse error. That's usually a pretty good one. A hello dash. Hello, hello. Oh, this is written in Scala. That's not even C though. Scala's not C. Oh, get out of here. I'm not real. Can't watch the video. I refuse to watch any videos on stream. I'm sorry. I'm sure we can find them here. Is there a... Where's your parser? Where is your parser? We can find one. Just search in the repository. Error utils. No, it doesn't have any. What a scam. Everything is great in Arnold C. Yeah, I mean, it does have 6,500 stars, so how bad can it be, really? Yeah, Fall Guys, haven't played it. I've seen people play it, though. It doesn't really look like my type of game. I tend to get really annoyed by games where there's a lot of random chance. Like, yeah, you can manipulate. It's showtime. Talk to the hand. You know, there's also Doge script, which is also pretty good. Where are the other examples? I desire other examples. Or are they in... Oh, they're in the wiki. And we can look at Project Euler stuff. In gists. It's showtime. You should check out Doge script though. Doge script is pretty good. Back when Dogecoin was still popular, but then or not even Dogecoin, it was just like the Doge meme. Wow. Such meme. Very funny. Which has a very similar syntax. Yeah, bear emotes. I need to get new emotes, but I need to finish this thing first so I can get it done for the Godot 2022 show reel. But actually, what I'm thinking I'm going to do is probably just in my free time record whatever here. Once I get presets done, then I can just record something really quickly because it only needs to be 15 stuff. So, hey, Christmas tree is less than 1,000. You set us up at no problemo. What? Stick around. Okay, so this is a function. I don't really know what get to the chopper is. Get up. Enough talk. So, okay, so this is very Ruby style. Pat the duck. Yes, pat the duck. Okay. You have no respect for logic. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I don't really please. Yeah, so this is an if statement. This is an else statement. Okay, I see. I see. Right. I guess I don't really understand the difference between this term and this term because I thought these were if statements as well. Maybe not. Oh, actually, no, I see what they're doing. Yeah, so you can have multiple phrases that compile down to the same keyword. I think Doge script works in the same way. You know what? That kind of makes me think I could probably do the same thing in GD scripts. Become a weeb. You know, I accidentally, when I was rewriting my Discord bot, I guess you can't see it here. And Baron Holm never gets the bot to respond to him. Hold on. So if we run my bot that I was rewriting in Highlang, which is very strange. This is the only free picture one of the only non-screenshot pictures I have on my hard drive for whatever reason. So, I mean, we're like halfway there. The new bot uses a anime girl profile picture. Suppose I should turn off the bot. Yeah, it's written Highlang though. I like using like weird languages that are still very useful. Let me see. Where was I? Oh, it was here. So I need to go into, not stream stuff. I need to go open up a new folder. Fall Guy emote. Fall Help. Okay. You know, Fall Guys was like surprisingly like super popular. Like, who was even looking forward to it, I suppose? Action can't be completed because it's open in another program. All right, just cancel me. Puppeteer. Actually, no, this will be in VPupper, right? Isn't this in or Virtual Puppet Project? Yeah, okay. It's now free. Is Fall Guys free? I know it was free on PS Plus. It's free on PS Plus for like a little bit after it released, but I don't really know. Oh, you know what? There's no save files here because I've always run this in debug mode. So in debug mode, I write all files to here, but why does this still have a screenshot? Where is this reading from? Yeah, no. Free on all platforms. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty late in its life cycle though, isn't it? Because Fall Guys came out in like 2020, just 2020, right? Or is it 2021? So it was in that period of time where people were just starved for content because everyone was stuck inside. And I suppose unlike me, you know, I tend to, you know, I don't mind being a homebody, but I know other people, that's like an important thing to keep in mind. It's like, oh no, all I have is my computer. What am I gonna do with my life? You know, most people need a little bit of external stimulation. I don't know. I guess I don't really mind. Alright, it's a runner preview, so delete this. There are logs, but we don't need any. Alright, so we can go into default, whatever. Looks... Oh, it's transparent background. Sorry. Okay. So move model. Zoom the model. Why not? Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah. And then if I were to turn off my current face tracker and then turn on the face tracker here, then you know, it'll just work. Also, by the way, if anyone wants to check out what the current build of the whatevers I'm working on right now looks like, it is... Hold on. It is here. Look at this. Free and open source. Oh, baby. Code is freely available under a permissive license as well. I do need to noticing this. I need to change the menu bar. The menu bar is not pointing towards the right repository. It makes me feel kind of dirty when I say repository like that. With the pronouncing the last T, repository. Because it kind of reminds me of suppository. Which is an unpleasant experience all around, unless you're into that kind of thing. Okay. I think that's fine. I'll need to check the... Oh, don't look at that. Don't look at that. Okay, lots of this stuff is just media pipe stuff. So look at this. So actually, someone was pinging me on GitHub because I previously opened an issue for like some media pipe into Godot integration. And so they were like, "Hey, I updated my thing for Windows, so you don't need to poke around at it anymore." And I was like, "All right, cool." And look at this. I mean, it totally works. Whatever I compiled works, but for whatever reason, I can't recompile it today. Don't have a good explanation for that, but maybe in the future. Just remember, I have an anime girl as my profile picture. Do you have an anime girl as your profile picture? Oh, you do. Look at that. I can't pull it out of chat. Is that Eurocamp? I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Eurocamp, but I haven't seen Eurocamp in a while. But no, actually, that's not Eurocamp. Right? Because Eurocamp has black hair girl and brown hair girl who doesn't look like that. Oh, it is Eurocamp? Let's go! Oh, I haven't seen that show in forever. Like, I watched it when it came out, and I was like, you know what? That's not bad. I think that's probably the only slice of life I thought was interesting. I don't feel good about that. But that's the other character, though. Owie. Blue. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Didn't, like, a season 2 come out? What am I doing, by the way? Extensions. We get around to that. I don't know. Well, I try to remember what we're doing. Let's just rerun the tests. Okay. Yes. Is season 2 good? Is it worth a watch? Because I don't know. I mean, I like camping. I've been camping a pretty good amount of times in my life. You haven't watched it? Oh, well, I guess if you watch season 1 then, that's fair. Yeah. Oh, I like camping. I think the amount of gear that they show off in that show is like pretty ridiculous. Like when you camp, it's actually like the more stuff you pack, the more inconvenient it is actually. Yeah. Like camping is a lot of, you know, taking the bare essentials, and then anything else is just extra stuff to carry out or gets in the way. Because you really shouldn't be like throwing trash away in the wilderness. That's like very uncool. Yeah, I've done a lot of camping in my life. And also a lot of backpacking, which is where you carry everything on your back and then you just walk around. Usually on trails and whatnots. So you basically go full turtle mode. Presets. This is what I need. But then when we create the pages, model configs, we have a model config, which is here, duck. So if we run it now, presets, we have 2 ducks. Okay, well that's not right. Let me see, create page. Oh wait, okay, I need to check for this. So this is what you get. These are the keys. Duck. Okay. AMCM get data. Model configs. Yeah, and then we'll go through every single key in there. So that's the key. Well, I suppose that's the config name. It's not really the key. I mean, it is literally the key of the, the key value pairing. Let me see, add page, config name, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I should also be passing in the path, because otherwise, how do you show like other information, I suppose? Okay, yeah, I probably need that. Okay. Let me think. So I have each config name, and then I need to grab each path. Hello, Roger. Hello. How are you? I'm good, thank you. And you? Isn't it weird how whenever you learn another language, that's like pretty much one of the first phrases you always have to learn is like, hello, how are you? I'm good, and you? Or at least that's how I've always been taught. So you always go like hola, ¿cómo estás? Estoy bien. You too? Or like in like Mandarin Chinese, you would be like 你好 or 你好吗? And you'd be like, 我很好，你呢? Even though no one actually talks like that. Oh, I'm doing well. And you? AM, CM, model config. So we can do it like this. So we can kind of, it's a little scuffed. So root initial page, the config, which should be, should be some sort of model config. 你好，今天怎么样? I'm all right. And you? Isn't that like that literally means like what's going on today? I suppose you could say that. 不错, not bad. I don't know. I feel like whenever I talk with like my friends who are more fluent in Mandarin, they usually just say like, yo, and that's pretty much it. Like, hey, what's up? I'm all right. AM, CM, model config, get as dictionary. Okay, I think that will work. Do this as a dictionary as well, because we shouldn't need to parse it into a model config just as a intermediate step. That's kind of a pain. But here, what we can do is, we have the path for the config name. My Chinese is bad. I took 4 years and I don't know much. I took 3 years. My parents didn't teach me. And also, like, my parents speak like a weird, it's like Chinglish, but it's like 2/3 Mandarin and Cantonese. So it's not half and half, so it was pretty tough for me to like figure out what was going on. But I suppose if you were to speak in that same, I guess, style, where you mix Mandarin, Cantonese, and English at the same time, I could probably understand you pretty well. And so the only place in the world where people really do that is like Malaysia. And pretty much only in Kuala Lumpur. To load read config at this thing. Config path, some sort of string, which is can I do that? Unity is being mean to me? Well, you know. It's Unity. What are you gonna do, am I right? But of course, Godot has its own share of problems. File reads. We're only reading. Hey? Oh, file. Yeah, no, I think there are many times that I've been writing this application that I wished I'd written this in like at least C# at the very least, but you know, what's done is done. You know, it's kind of weird though, going back to like the language discussion. It's like my time in self-isolation. I was about to say my time in captivity, but I'm not being held captive, I suppose. Although I guess if you hold yourself captive, is that really being held in captivity? Anyways. Get as text. Yeah. Anyways, my time in quarantine, even though I haven't been sick since after Christmas, where I think at Christmas time I got COVID, but you know, fortunately did not die, etc., etc. If you could probably guess that. But in the 2 years, I've learned like a lot of Chinese and Japanese, and by Chinese I mean Mandarin Chinese, or at least I've learned a lot about how to read Chinese characters. I think my spoken Chinese is still garbage, but I'm able to read it pretty well. And then Japanese is really easy to read as long as it's in hiragana or katakana. If JSON results. Error? Where is it? It's one of these. Is error? No. What is JSON parse results? JSON parse. Okay, it's just error. If JSON is not okay, then enable malformed config file at blah with error blah. Yeah. So this is config path and JSON result error string. Yeah. Should I have more discipline to teach myself? Well, you just gotta find something that you are interested in, or set your own goals. You know, I mean, it's different for everybody, but I find myself to be more, maybe not reward oriented, but it's more, I guess, punishment oriented, where if I don't do a thing, or if I don't accomplish a goal that I set out for myself, I will like take something away from myself. I suppose that's where the discipline comes into. You know, I think that's the mark of being, you know, I think that's the mark of integrity, is having discipline to follow through on something. So if you say that you're going to do something, you do something. And if you fail to do that, then you need to analyze it. You know, why did we fail to achieve, you know, X or Y goal? You know, what was it? Just something that was impossible? Or was that like, or was it because of a more personal failing? You know what I'm saying? Okay. So if it was because of a more personal failing, then what I do, create page. We need information about it, but this is just data, dictionary, sure. Actually, wait a minute. Model config can read from, hold on. Parse dictionary. Yeah, okay. So we can read from this. Sorry, I was talking about something and then I remembered, oh wait, I need to I need to do a thing. Actually, there's no reason for me to even do the initial parsing here, right? Every day I'm personally failing. You know what? That's fair. You know, that's better than most people. At least you have the wherewithal to recognize that. I think other people are more laissez-faire about the standard that they hold themselves to. But you know, it's not for everybody. Parse string, parse dictionary, and then this has a parse dictionary, right? Yeah, okay, so here, what I can do is just, as long as I can load it in, I think it's fine. Yeah, this is presets. Hold on, I'm very confused. Where was I? My first day at work today at a liquor store. Nice. How was it? Do you get the hookup for free liquor? I'm assuming you probably don't. But maybe you do. I don't know. I've never worked at a liquor store personally. Config string, and then we'll pass the config string into create page. So this is data or config string. Config string, blah, blah, config string. And this is parse string. Yeah, see, I'm remembering how I designed this. I love it when a plan comes together. I got a discount, so glad I quit that sales internship. You know, when I was in university, I almost got roped into one of those like pyramid schemes where they like, I remember I still remember the sales pitch. It was like, you're trying to sell these like coupon books. So you'll spend 3 months, you know, at our site, you'll lodge with us. And then if you are able to meet your sales quota, you know, we'll give you a recommendation. I was like, what the heck is this, dude? And I remember at the thing, after they started saying that, I was like, I started feeling uncomfortable, and I guess the presenter must have noticed, and it was like, hey, are you feeling all right about this? You can always get out whenever you want. Yeah, that's basically what it was, yeah. Hey, what's up? Oh, hello, Code Custard. How's a VTuber coming along? It's going along alright. It's going along alright. Here, check this out. Look at this. Oh, baby. So we have, currently I have the various runners. So this is kind of the entire application, right? So we have settings. There's nothing in general right now, but I'm thinking about it. Extensions, you can always just open up show and file system, blah, blah, blah. I had to implement this myself, by the way. Or at least this button prompt, not the like opening up the file explorer. That's kind of a native Godot thing that a lot of people don't realize that you can do. But here, look at this. It automatically takes a screenshot when you close the program. These are split across into default runner and VRM. Eventually, VRM will just be the only one that you have access to. But default runner will always be there in case there's nothing else for you to select. Then you can show the GUI selector if you have a custom GUI that you want to, access. But by default, we just use the default one. And then check this out. We also have tracking working. How cool. So you can start OpenCFace, which I could if I was not currently tracking. Model, blah, blah, blah. You have all these pop-ups. You can have the same pop-up open twice. And if you change something, it updates across other pop-ups as expected. Currently, what I'm working on is presets, which is slightly broken if you couldn't tell, I suppose. Mostly because of the double duck that you can see here. But once I get presets done, right, because presets, that's kind of the last necessary thing that you would need. You know, props, still not done. Still needs a lot of work done on it. Yeah, presets is the last required thing that you need. And then after that, I will start recording something for the Godot 2022 show reel and then submit something. So you only get like a 15-second block anyways. So there's not too much to show off here. Actually, I guess I can show off this actually working. So the UI, so this is the current UI. It's pretty ugly. But if you go here, I think the UI looks okay. I still need to write in the logic for displaying windows over other windows. That's not too hard to do, I think. At least I know how I would do the implementation right now. I just don't have the time to do it. But we can launch the tracker. Maybe we won't. Yeah. What happened? This was working. What? Oh no, did something break? No. All right, hold on. Send me again. Yeah, don't feel bad about falling for the, I guess, the Ponzi schemes, the pyramid schemes. It's not a Ponzi scheme because you're not investing anything, but, well, you are investing your time. But, you know, it can happen to anybody, really. You know, you get a good tip, you need a summer job. No data found for OpenCFace should launch tracker. And then this causes a problem here. So is this not... Hold on. OpenCFace. We'll start this again. All right, so I've broken something. But I guess in response, it's going okay. I think the UI is a lot better. The code is a lot cleaner. It allows for multiple face trackers, which is nice. Yeah, you can always grab all the code here, free and open source, etc., etc. The code is very complicated because, as it turns out, trying to... I think if you're building your code all around a single face tracker, it's very easy. But once you're trying to solve for any face tracker, that's when it starts getting a lot more complicated, right? Anyways, that's the code. This isn't working for some reason. I mean, it's not some reason. I know why. It's because it's missing a value here. It should be here at the very least. So you have model configs, but I think something happened with... what's it called? Tracking GUI descriptor. So this is looking for one of these things. Hold on. Godot engine. Yeah, OpenSea face camera name not found in model config and metadata. So it's looking for these keys that don't exist. So why is that? Get data, OpenSea face port. Okay, so I think what I should do in get data is cm get data. That's what this is. I should provide a default, and so if nothing is found, let me think. What's up? What's up? How are you? Needle mouse. I saw your game. Unfortunately, still as a personal rule, I don't download games. But congratulations on submitting your game to your the game jam that you were doing. Very cool. Excuse me. Throat's getting a bit dry. Should I make it HTML? Yeah. I mean, it's just like a, you know, I hope you understand. That it's risky, right? To download whatever you want. Or maybe that's just me being like a boomer or whatever, even though I'm not nearly old enough to be a boomer. I missed the game jam, been super busy. What was the theme? Oh, it wasn't me, but that was Needle Mouse. Better off asking them, unless you were asking them, in which case I apologize for butting in. Oh my god. You know, I'm gonna be right. I gotta get some water. I'm out of water. BRB. Oh, hello, I'm back. With water. And also use the bathroom while I was there. You know. While we're at it, you might as well take a pit stop. Pro enough to protect himself from hackers. Well, I am protecting myself from hackers by only running things in the browser. Almost never download anything unless it's been, like, I guess, recommended or whatever. Making you play it? I'll play it. I'll play a visual novel. It's not really my cup of tea, shall we say. But I do like me a good story. You know, I did play through pretty much every Trails game. So by Trails game, I mean like Trails in the Sky. You should be, I don't know, if you're looking for like a really long game to eat up pretty much all of your time, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, now that's a game. The first game kind of slow. Actually, the first game is like a super duper slow burn. But then, like Chapter 2, very good. Chapter 3, probably my favorite out of the entire thing. Or out of the, I guess that's first trilogy. And then I played the console ones as well. Trails of Cold Steel. That one is not as good. But it's more fun to play, I suppose. Man, like those games, if you do pretty much everything that you should be doing, that's still a very solid 40 hours. Or 30 hours. And I think if you talk to everybody, it's like, that's easily like 50 hours. Because it's one of those like RPG type games where like every single NPC has their own story, which is like kind of cool. Like not all stories are made equal, but some of them do have their own like just character arcs on the side. But the only problem is that you need to go and find them and then talk to them. Which is really hard when for a lot of those like earlier games all you can do is just walk. There's no fast travel. Let me see. Set data, get data here so we can provide a default value. Creating and using default value. So we'll set this in probably metadata. Use metadata. Which is a boolean equal to false. So here we'll do set data. I actually don't remember how this is supposed to work. Model config. Well, no, this base config. Set data, has data, get data, set data, set data, set data. Okay, yeah, we can do this. So set data, key default value, if not use metadata, else metadata, set data, key default value. Okay, yeah. What's your problem? Standalone ternary, the return value is being discarded, but there is no return value. All right. Wait, I forgot I uploaded on Newgrounds. Oh baby, Newgrounds. Still surprised that site is still alive, but I suppose it still has a loyal following. I don't know. Does Newgrounds have an API? If it does have an API, I guess I might use it a bit more. It's still under judgment. By who? Dread? Oh, no. Hold on. Do I have a Newgrounds account? Give me one sec. I can give you a free judgment, I suppose. Get ready to get X'd. Oh, my account is compromised, by the way. It's a game API? Alright. I don't know. There we go. Congratulations. Hey, want to become famous? Absolutely not. How do I ban you? Hold on. Diego, was it ban? Diego. No, don't click on him. Ah. Hold on, we can do this. He's done it. Uncaught range error, maximum call stack size exceeded. Yeah, you have a Stack Overflow. It's not my account, but my name is Diego. It's telling me, it's a premonition that I should ban you in the future. But yeah, congratulations, I've given you a, I think, actually, is this a Flash game? Or is it like a WebAssembly thing? Maybe I'll play it later. Congratulations on your 5 stars anyways. No, it's HTML. Yeah, we'll get to it later. I'll play it off stream. I need to stay focused. That's the error when I play that game. Oh, there we go. You're talking to the man, the myth, the legend, Needle Mouse, or I suppose the human, the myth, the legend, Needle Mouse, the mouse themselves. They're the developer. Don't tell me. I have no idea. Yeah. All right, give me one more try. One more try, Captain. One more try, Coach. We'll jump into it. Tracking. Creating and using default value. So we do this. Actually, I've been tracking already, so this is gonna break. Okay, hold on. Get me out of here. Probably just spun up a garbage process, so I need to stop the tracker here. Go into Task Manager and make sure that there's nothing else that's just running just because. That happens sometimes. The face tracker is, by the way, completely CPU bound, so the fact that it takes up like almost no CPU time is really impressive, actually. Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, see, I also don't want to download. That's the thing. I don't download stuff, man. No data found for OpenSea Face should launch tracker. It's interesting. So what happened? So I remember I do a big thing here. Get data, OpenSea Face should launch tracker, blah, blah, blah. What do I do here, though? No, I mean, these should be... Oh, it's because I'm not providing defaults. Okay. So I should provide the defaults here. Camera select, should launch tracker, blah, blah. Yeah, so I'll provide a default. Pretty much all of these should be providing defaults, yeah. So get data, OpenSea Face Tracker FPS 12, because that's what I use. Camera name, I don't know. I got nothing. Actually, no, these are publishing the value, and then they should be caught. Wait, what? I'll be doing some Lua stuff in my NeoVin config. Lua is pretty sick. Big fan of Lua. Man, the only thing I would like Lua a lot more if only it used 0 as its first index. The fact that it uses 1 as its first index is just unbearable. I can't do it. It gets me every single time. It does not matter. Like I'll say like, I don't know, I won't use a for loop like that. I'll just use like a for each loop. But no, sometimes you need to use a for loop, and then it'll get you. It'll get you. Which is also very strange because sometimes, like if you ever integrate with other programs, especially like C++ or C programs, use 0 as their first index, like here, right? Like if you want to start your webcam here, you need to pass in 0, not 1. So having to have that little bit of extra mental overhead to remember, like, oh, whenever we're interacting with native code, we need to -1 to whatever index we're passing. That's just too much for me. I can't do it. Can't do it. Yeah, actually, these don't need to have default values. Because I passed in the default value for this stuff already, which means that there's something in the config manager that's not quite right. Hold on. Metadata changed. Publish. Oh, you know what? This is not being intercepted. Yeah. That's tough. I see. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. So how do I get this information into the config manager? Because the config manager really only works off of metadata stuff. So we can publish, right? We can publish these values generically, but that doesn't help me here. If I wanted to be caught by the config manager, I need to either publish on, well, actually, where did these get set up? Register config, blah, blah, blah. Register config, yeah. No, yeah, there's nothing. Oh, did I like the first time I did this? Did I just put the values there manually? You know what? That sounds familiar. That sounds like something I would do. I really should not do that, but I'm gonna keep doing it because that's just like that's how I like to do things, unfortunately. So how do I get this into? How do I get this into the metadata kind of stuff? Or how do I push this directly to config manager? Like this should be published, right? So that anyone can listen for the data. I gotta think. What I could do, actually, yeah. What I can do is this. So we'll do we can do like an AM pub sub, hold on, for I in all of these things, AM pub sub is that not called register? Pub sub. Create signal. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? And then we can just have every single signal that we're using here. Yeah, okay, that'll work. So constants, or config keys, something like that, right? Tracking GUI descriptor. So I'll keep this here and I'll just reference everything that I am pulling. So anything that says get data, I just need to grab these. Should launch tracker. Nope. You know, I've told this story before, but I used to know a girl who, we were co-workers. So we were doing like some pair programming, because I guess that's how, I guess younger people like to work, I guess. But anyways, I was watching her program, not in a weird way, by the way. Should say that, get that out of the way. It wasn't weird. I was like, wait a minute, are you not pressing the shift key? Are you like pressing caps lock instead of pressing shift? And she was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, like, please explain yourself. And she was like, no, it's just how I type. And I was like, what the heck? You only press, like, in order to press capital, or in order to type capital letters, you press caps lock? What the heck? There are people out there that do that? And she was like, yeah, that's like, I mean, that's how my parents type. And I was like, what the? What are you talking about? That's not normal. Or are there other people out there? Like I've only met like one other person who presses caps lock every single time they want to press or type a capital letter. It's crazy. Dang, some dude got me excited that Fall Guys was gonna be free, but they took it off Steam. Well, you can blame Needle. Well, was it Needle Mouse or was it you? No, it was Dash, right? That was Dash. I blame Dash. I have no affiliation. Feel free to, you know, blah, 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 pick up your pitchforks and all that. Yeah. Same with monsters that use the right shift. Is that weird? I pretty much exclusively use right shift. But also, I mean, this is what my, hold on. This is what my keyboard looks like. I guess I should turn on my tracker again since I'm still fixing a bunch of stuff. Like this is what my keyboard looks like. Where are my posts? Where are my images? I've shared this before. Images. Yeah, I don't have any images. I swear I've there we go. Yeah, look at this. Like this is the keyboard I use. This is an actual real life picture of the keyboard I use. That's also like how my desk looks. Gaze in it, bask in its beauty. Look at how many megapixels are in this image. Some problems with HTML, sometimes I can't do it. I hope you'll figure it out one day, Needle Mouse. That looks uncomfortable. Look at this. It's beautiful, right? So everything is labeled as you would think, except for delete. I didn't have 2 shift keys, so I had to use delete instead, so it matched the color scheme. Like this is the character that I'm this is the keyboard that I'm currently using. So that's backspace, of course. Tab, escape, everything makes sense except for lower, raise, and I guess meta. Code is just Windows. Yeah. What is my key map? I used to have a what's the QMK configurator, and then we can go through my key map if you want. So if I upload my key map, so upload a QMK. No, that's a plank. Where's my... I don't know where my key map is. Why, left, down, up, right? That's Vim. So if you've ever used Vim, those are the Vim keybinds. So Vim. So if you were to navigate this using Vim, you do have to use HJKL in order to navigate. So it's very similar to how that would work. Oh, get me out of here. I don't like it here. I always forget how to get out of Q. Keyboard of Satan. It's good. It's good, right? So if you want to type any punctuation, you go into the lower layer. I can find my lower layer. I have the key map saved somewhere. And so let me see. If we type in, oh, sorry. So I have most of this just committed to memory at this point. How do you forget to get out of Vim? No, it's if you ever press Q without pressing colon first, it puts you into like, it's some sort of mode that lets you go through past commands. I don't really know what Q does. I always forget. But yeah, so everything on this keyboard on the lower layer corresponds to the, I guess, the non-shifted variants here. Look at that. And then on the, so JKL semicolon enter gives you those characters here. And then everything below that, so M, comma, period, blah, blah, are those characters. So you see how these kind of match up on your regular keyboard. And then, of course, you might notice that there's no numbers, but if you press lower, you get, on Q, you get 1, 2, 3, and then you just go across. So that gives you 1 through 9 plus 0 on backspace. But then also you can get a second numpad here, which is a phone style numpad. So Q, W, E is 1, 2, 3. ASD is 4, 5, 6. This is to save money. Actually, this keyboard costs more than a regular keyboard. So it's mostly to save space. Yeah. Once you get used to it, it's actually a lot nicer than a regular keyboard because you don't have to move your fingers as much because everything is just on the layers, right? So like Z, X, C is 7, 8, 9, and then meta or lower meta, which is the hardest one to reach, is 0. But usually when you're at that point, you can just do lower P, and then you get 0 as well. But then if you press meta, because I have meta mapped to a layer 3, yeah, my desk is empty, but that also means I can move my keyboard anywhere I want, right? Also, you might notice this is kind of a zoomed in picture of my desk. I have like tons of other things on my desk. Yeah, so you press meta, that gives you a regular keyboard numpad. So if you're using a laptop, you probably don't have an actual numpad. I have an actual numpad. Right, so this is 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. And then there's numlock or something somewhere, I forget. I don't usually use that one. I usually just use lower. And then if you want to have, beginning and end, that's raise O or L. So beginning, or that's home, end, home, end. Can have something, a reference to a size. It's very small. It's about, I don't know. It's about, I don't know. It's if you have a laptop, it's smaller than that. Like it's a very small keyboard, but all the keys are regular sized. But also you might notice that they're all in straight lines, whereas a regular keyboard is slightly offset for no reason, essentially. Other than that's just how people have done it, because like your regular offset keyboard, right? So if you look at like a DOS keyboard, not bad. I've used the DOS keyboard before. It's not really my type of thing, but you might notice that here, right, like my keyboard fits inside this space. So DOS keyboard is like a regular full-size keyboard that also has a knob, I guess. Yeah, my keyboard is about this big. Like the keycaps are all the same size, the regular size. But you might notice that my keys are not offset. My keys are all straight, which is actually a lot more comfortable to use once you get used to it, because then all you need to do is go up and down as opposed to like slightly offsets. Because the reason why your keys on a regular keyboard are all offset, right, is because this is a typewriter layout. So on a typewriter, you have physical hammers, essentially. So you need to have space for every single hammer. But keyboard, you don't need that, which is why I like using an ortholinear layout, which is what this is. Offset. No, bring it back. Thank you very much, Isa, for the raid. Hello, hello. Oh, no. Sending love to you. Please, no. I subsist off of hate exclusively. But thank you very much for the raid. Feel free to peep your own channel. I am still rewriting my bots, but I was, you know, I was caught in a discussion talking about the keyboard I use. Hello, hello, hello. I am, I guess a VTuber, maybe. I write VTuber software. This is what I'm working on right now. I am trying to, well, I wrote this, and I'm rewriting it. So this is the current rewrite. This is what it used to look like. It's very ugly, but it's also very utilitarian. Supports anime models, etc., etc. You can find the project on GitHub. Hold on. This model is kind of jank, but I don't know what's broken with the current, the reference model. But check that out. So this is what it's capable of. Technically, this program can also do it. But the UI, in theory, should look a lot nicer. Look at this. Oh, hello, Nova. Hello, hello. You can find the project there. Please give me stars. But yeah, I was talking about my keyboard. I don't know why. I don't know how we got into this discussion, but this is the keyboard I use. This is what a normal full-size keyboard looks like. Look at that. So yeah, this is the keyboard I'm currently using. I have access to every single key, plus a few extra keys as well. But I would actually need to reference my my actual key map, which I can load into QMK configurator to look at all the extra keys. But I never remember what the other extra keys are called. Thank you very much for redeeming a hydrate. Yeah, so it's an ortholinear 48%. And there's 300 milliliters of water down the hatch. Left, up, down, up, right. No, that's just Vim configuration. So once you get used to using Vim, I've already shown this off, right? Once you get used to using Vim, because Vim was made to be used with like a terminal, right? So old keyboards didn't used to have arrow keys, by the way. Like if you use like an old like Apple II keyboard, you have to press a function key and then use PL semicolon / in order to do those kind of things. Oh, hold on. Get out of here. So it's just the standard is at this point. I gotta run the grocery for codes, but I'll be back soon. Take it easy, Nova. Goodbye, goodbye. Vim is because I'm dumb. Vim is, if you ever work with servers, thank you very much, GUI Filth, for the follow. Much appreciated. I stream Sundays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, I guess on Wednesdays I stream from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time, you know. Trying to get this application out the door so I can record something, blah, blah, for the Godot 2022 show reel. But yeah, Vim is, if you ever work with like bare metal servers, or not even bare metal servers, just like regular servers, right, where the only interface that you have is a terminal. Look at that. Do I have tree? No, I don't have tree here. I know command has tree, so you can hit it with tree. So if you have a terminal, blah, blah. Oh, look, I'm a super hacker. How cool. Like this is the only thing that you can see. So If you want to edit any text, you either have to use awk, which is something I would really prefer not to use. So awk is a Linux utility, or a Unix actually utility for doing string replacements. I guess sed is also a good one. I don't usually use sed. I usually use awk, but if you're a sysadmin, you probably have more experience with that. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, thank you very much, Ava, for the raid. Much appreciated. What I'm trying to, or what I was doing before I got into the entire keyboard tangent, was trying to figure out why I was not able to start tracking anymore. Because I had tracking working before, but then I made a few more changes and now everything's broken. So, let's see. And I know why exactly, right? It's because of not this, this here. So I need to create the signals beforehand, pretty much. Because what I had done like a while ago was accidentally put these signals into my config file here. This is not here. Hold on. We're just going through all the Bazel stuff here. So in the other file, right? So we have two types of files. We either have a metadata.json, which is kind of application level metadata. Who would have guessed? And then duck.json, which oh, actually, this is not a duck. This is some sort of human female. Could also be a dude, I suppose. And this is a duck, which I made. So what I had done accidentally a long time ago was put these keys here by hand, which you should never do, but that's kind of what one of the benefits of using a JSON file is that it's human readable. So let's see. Anyways, once you get more into like system administration, especially like Linux system administration, so Windows usually have access to Notepad or whatnot. I'm not sure if it's even possible to do all your system admin work on like a Windows server, like only using CMD or PowerShell. Because like, isn't it in CMD you still have to launch Notepad if you want to edit anything? Whereas in Linux, you don't need a GUI, you don't need a desktop environment. You can just use Vim, you can use Nano, you can use Ed, you can use Emacs. Any and all of those are terminal-only applications. So, Linux is for nerds? Well, you've come to the wrong stream. Because I work for one of the biggest Linux companies in the world. But yeah. Hello. Soul Blacku. How are you? Yeah, I think this is actually good enough. So, let's kill the tracker. Hello, Exodrifter. Hello. How are you? Oh, and thank you very much, Soul Black Goo, for the follow. Much appreciated. You can find pretty much all of this code. By the way, I very rarely, if ever, work on closed source stuff, unless I'm working on like a game or whatever. But even then, those usually eventually get open sourced. Yeah. Not a huge fan of Arch, but if it works for you, it works for you. I like my development environment to be extremely stable, which is why I'm still running on my work computer Fedora 33. Even though Fedora, I think 36 came out recently. All right, so this is still broken. So why is this? So we can kill it. So I still have not implemented caching, which means we can go into the pub sub, where pub sub stands for publish subscribe. Very fancy. It's a very popular software architecture pattern. Soul Black Guy. Well, okay. I'm just gonna call you Soul because using any other single word for your name could be a bit controversial. So if signal name empty, that's fine. If has user signal, see, yeah, that already exists. Oh, it's because I need the, oh, I see. Well, that's tough. No love for FreeBSD. FreeBSD, it's all right. I have OpenBSD installed on one of my laptops. I have a ThinkPad X something with OpenBSD installed on it. I don't remember why I installed OpenBSD on it, but you know. Oh, this is probably not what I want, huh? Because this needs to subscribe to a very specific value, which I can't do. So what I should be doing is like, that's tough, man. I wish I could get more into the BSDs though, but there's just, I don't know. Most things that I do are like not server stuff, and if I was doing server stuff, I would rather just do it on like Debian, or I guess it's called Alma OS now, no longer CentOS. Cause I don't know, I already have a bunch of scripts ready to go for both Debian and CentOS or Alma. I haven't used CentOS in a little bit. But any of the BSDs, I'm like, I don't know, man. It works, I suppose, but it's not doing what I need it to do. I guess I can do this. So we'll just hit it with a AM. So AM app manager is my big singleton manager. I don't like to have a lot of singletons just hanging out, especially in Godot. So the more nodes you have, the more, like, I see something I never understand. Like I got flamed for this actually on the Godot Discord, but I was talking about how like singletons are auto loads as Godot uses them, but then auto loads aren't actually singletons. I got flamed for it. I was like, I prefer to just have a singleton manager in there. Like, why don't you just use nodes? They're built into Godot, blah blah. I was like, what? Like, clearly no one here knows what they're talking about. Each node has a ton of, I guess, overhead associated with it, right? Whereas if you just use something that isn't a node, so a reference, you know, you have way less overhead because every single node has a process function that's always called no matter what, and also needs to interact with the scene tree because it is a node. Anyways, so pub sub subscribe ourself to, what is it called? Global constants event published. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. On event published, because we're using the default subscribe on event published. So this is going to be some sort of payload. Yeah. I'm more of a Fedora guy though. If we're talking about POSIX compliant OSs, use Fedora. Debian is what I run all my servers on. Rel is okay, but I'd rather not use Rel. Or if we're using Rel, I'd rather disable every single SC Linux thing on it. Cause I don't know, like unless like I'm running a server or something, I don't know. Like I'm a responsible developer on desktop. I don't need the chains, you know. Config keys, I don't know if I need this anymore actually. But event published. So how do I tell then? If I can't register Or maybe I just need to add a new function to this, which is like register self to, or like maybe like a runtime add, as opposed to, because the config manager never needs to listen to just random events, right? Config manager only listens for config changes, and all config changes can usually be emitted like directly from the pub sub. So the pub sub actually has two ways of, you know, publishing. So you can either publish an explicit signal. So each signal in our configuration, so every single one of these values is registered as a signal at runtime, which is cool because it's, you know, even if you did not register each signal at runtime, it would still be stored the same way. So this only incurs a very slight startup cost. So, you know, oh no, I lose 2 nanoseconds off startup. What a travesty. But anyways, I think what I need to do is have expose something else in our API interface here, which is like, I don't know, like runtime add, it's not runtime. You're not adding anything to the runtime. What am I thinking? So I need to add these signals, right? Because these are all OpenCFace specific, which is why I have also taken the liberty of pre-namespacing them. Because the entire idea of this application, the rewrite, right, is that as opposed to this one where a bunch of things are hard-coded because it was only listening for OpenCFace, and so that's why the application used to be called OpenCFace GD. This new one, Virtual Puppet Project, VPuppet for short, can take in any number of trackers at runtime. And actually, I've already gotten MediaPipe to work with Godot, so it's not too much longer now until I add a second possible tracker, and also a third possible tracker because I already have mouse tracking also working with this stuff, because this is, oh, hold on, I turned someone into a duck by accident. I already have this working, so able to do key logging essentially at runtime in Godot, because the overlay is not stream avatars, but it's my own creation. So we have a bunch of things on the docket. I just need to finish up hooking up the first thing. Once I finish up hooking up OpenCFace and it's all concrete, super solid, should be fine. Should be easy for the rest, because everything else just needs to follow the same pattern. So what are we calling this? This is... subscribe, runtime subscribe to signal, I suppose. So we'll do signal name metadata. So most things don't subscribe to metadata stuff, but you could. So we can do AMPS. Is it not register signal? What is it called? Create signal, sorry. Signal name. Here, signal name, blah, blah. Like, we don't really care about the error code, that's fine. So var result is equal to this thing. So result is my own custom type. It's very close to how Rust does it, but it's also one of the only ways that you can do like try catching Godot. It's very Golang style, where Godot will just kind of boot you out of the current stack frame, and you know, this variable will be null, or this variable will be null, as long as it's a reference type, of course. Any primitive type will have a real value inserted into it. So if this was to be like a dictionary or something, it would just be an empty dictionary instead of a result. So it's a lot harder to check to see if an error actually occurred. So if result is null or result is error, shoot logger error. If res is not null, else runtime subscribe to signal something super broke. Something here. Yeah. Oh, hello, doohoo. How are you? How are you? So this should return a result, I suppose, as well. So actually, this should just be return result. Yeah. We don't need to log anything. Return result, okay. Oh, baby. So then we had a result. I'm sleepy, but good. Nice. I thought you were doohoo, but I, you know, I can call you good. Or no, I can call you sleepy, sorry. I messed up the dad joke. Is metadata. So we create the signal. Then here. Callback. All right, so we need to figure out what the callback is. So all metadata changed and model config changed. That's tough. That's tough. We can add this as a constant, but then this becomes a lot more complicated as well. That's fine. Whatever. Metadata config callback. Model config metadata. Well, it's just metadata, right? Metadata callback and model config callback. Yeah, so we're hopefully once I'm done with this, I can be done with this entire program for a while, and I can go back to working on things that are more weird, I suppose. I like working on weird pieces of software. I don't like working on more conventional stuff. And I think this counts as conventional now that I have like a, you know, a piece of software that actually works. Oh, actually, I'm not even running the tracker anymore. That's my bad. So I've been trying to fix things. How painful. Model config callback. So we'll just use all of these. In Godot 4, we don't have the same kind of problem, because instead of, I guess, doing everything via strings, Godot 4 has callables, which is a very Python-esque way of doing things. Hold on. I think I'm slightly off center. Yeah. So if is metadata, then we'll do this thing. So pretty much if we're ever runtime subscribing to something, well, we need to check to see if the key already exists, I suppose. So if the signal already exists anyways, then we don't care. If the signal already exists, then we assume that we're already connected to it, yes. But here, if it is metadata, then we'll do res is equal to am pub sub subscribable to self. The key is the signal name. And then the callback, if it's metadata, it's the metadata callback. Who would have guessed? Else. Actually, this is where we can use the ternary operator. Oh baby, my favorite. If is metadata else. Oh, actually, this is metadata else model config. Yeah, look at that. And then we'll return the result. Look at that. I think that's one of the few things I really like from Python, and then also Rust has adopted the same methodology, is that you can, like, if statements are just expressions, so they can be standalone or they can be inline like that. So I think I used to really dislike it, but you know, over the time I just got used to it. It's more just me being stubborn about, like, oh, you know, oh, that's not how Java does it. AMCM runtime subscribe to signal. For val in this, so that should be okay. Oh, and then we also need to check to see if this exists or not. Well, actually, no, you don't need to check to see if it exists or not, right? Because set data. Wait, no. Wait, hold on. Base config set data. What does set data do? So if the key doesn't exist, okay, yeah, if the key doesn't exist, it just creates it for you. Okay, cool. Save the file, that's fine. Blah blah. Runtime subscribe. So we just create the signal and then we subscribe to it, and then we return the result. But then we just discard the result anyways because we don't really care. But I guess I should be intercepting it. So we do res. This is some sort of result. If result is null or result is error, then we want to hit it with a, oh, there's no logger for us here because, because this is a completely standalone tracking thingy. So we'll use the generic logger, am at manager logger, error. Frequency face. ToString if, oh, hold on. It's not null, else something is super broken. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so basically, like, it's like, I hope you like Golang, because that's how we're doing everything. We have a breakpoint, that's fine. Send me. Takes a little bit, because we do need to register every single key that's found in the config file. But then we'll go here, tracker, please work. This happens sometimes. Okay. So error calling method, blah, blah. Method expected 2 arguments, but called with 1. That's fair. Oh, you know what? I see. All right, kill that. Bring me back. I need to stop turning on and off the face tracker. Because every single time the face tracker needs to recalibrate itself with my face. So I suppose I should stop publishing with just nothing then. And then we can publish just the regular value. Something like that. Because otherwise then we need to like explicitly catch publish stuff. But that's not how I want to broadcast this type of information. Although you totally could. Hold on. Publish. No, yeah. What? No, that's right. I am publishing with a key. Publish. Yeah, pub sub. We get the entire stack trace. How nice. So 2 of these files don't have file names because they are loaded at runtime. Camera select, sure. 117. Yeah. So error calling method from signal, open C face camera name, method expected. Well, actually, config measure on config model config changed method expected 2 arguments but called with 1. Right, because it's an event published, sure. And then we are passing in. We're publishing the signal name and the data. And then we are emitting the signal name and the signal payload. Yeah, I mean, that should be right. Yeah. What? And then there's always going to be some data. Hey? What? Where? Sure. Wait for parent. Sure. Yeah. Handle a GD, blah, blah. And then we can't look at anything here. 117. Then we go to pub sub, publish. Error calling method from thing. Method experience expected 2 arguments but called with 1. Method from signal. No, that's right. Eh? But it's always sending in. I see. I see. I see. So when you emit the signal name actually gets dropped. So this is the only parameter that gets sent. But then the config manager is actually expecting data and then the key for that data if it does exist. Okay. That's tough. So let's think about that. I mean, that's tough because I can't just emit this signal. This is where function overloading would come in handy, but this is where I would use function overloading if I had it. Although I get that a lot of modern languages don't actually have function overloading. I feel like if you don't have function overloading in your language, people just work around it anyways, because there's a lot of places where function overloading is actually really useful, right? So if you have like an indeterminate amount of parameters, then you can handle each one separately, as opposed to, oh, we have var args and then we need to check how many args we have. But then Godot doesn't even have var args. So this is looking for data key. Right, so we emit some data, and then we also pass along the key along with it. Oh, actually, here's what we can do. I totally forgot. So here, we can do runtime subscribe to signal, blah, blah. Runtime subscribe to signal. Then we'll subscribe ourselves. So subscribe can actually take a few types of arguments. So right now, this is just taking the signal name plus the callback, but actually what we can do is wrap this in something that's slightly different, right? So this is one example of where var args comes into handy. Oh, hello. I like what you've done with your hair. Oh, thank you. I've worked long and hard on it. I'm glad someone is finally appreciating the luscious locks I have going on. How are you, Grimmer? Args. Yeah, I actually, before the pandemic, even started, I was actually growing out my hair IRL in meat space. So the longest my hair ever got was like, it was like anime length actually. It was down to like the middle of my back. So led to a few awkward situations though, because like I identify as a dude, but I have been accidentally, well, it might not be accidentally, I guess they could have been, you know, gay or whatever. I have been hit on a few times by dudes. You know, it's weird actually. I've been hit on by dudes a lot more than I've been hit on by girls. By dudes and by dudettes. Dude, yeah, basically dudes hit on me a lot more than dudettes. It's weird. But even then, like the two times I've been hit on by persons of a female persuasion, I just did not know what to do. Because I was like, I don't know, this is weird. I feel like I'm about to get robbed, so I just like walked away. I was like, I don't know what to do in this situation. But whenever a guy hits on me, I'm like, oh, sorry. You know, my mind is mostly there. But in notifications to the program, you know, I kind of already have notifications in this program. So if I go into here and we start messing with the transparency, yeah, there we go. I have toast notifications already implemented. How cool. So I mean, I'll just need to get back into it, right? Then we'll start learning GDScript with that free app GD Quest has. Yeah, I've used that. It seemed very similar to how Code Academy does it with Python. I don't know how Code Academy is now, but I can vouch for at least their Python 2 course. Because that's how I learned how to program. You know, once you learn how to talk to the computer, every other language just kind of comes naturally, I suppose. As long as it's like in the same family, right? So as long as if you're learning, most languages are C-style languages. That's how, at least how I would describe them. So Python C-style, Ruby C-style, in the style of C, of course, that's what it means. Not C-style as a single word. C-style doesn't mean anything, but I think this will work, by the way. I mean the tracking. Hold on. But yeah, as long as you know a C-style language, it's pretty easy to pick up any other language. I mean, learning any language that has pointers is always a trip. That takes a little bit longer, but if you learn Python, then you can learn Java pretty easily. If you know Java, you can learn Python, Ruby, whatever, pretty easily. Learning C or C++ is a bit harder because pointers are tough to wrap your head around. I mess with W3 schools some more down the line. W3 schools, they're okay. Oh, look, it works now. So yeah, this is what the program is going to look like in the future. So you'll have your tracking window. You can make it smaller if you want. You can even make it super small and just push it over to the side like that. Right, and then you can have like bones or whatnot. So you can grab, I don't know. I think chest is somewhat hard to tell, but we can still do it. So look at that. So we can wiggle the chest like that. This isn't actually doing any body tracking. This is just me clicking and dragging on screen, so I can wiggle the model like that. We can reset the pose, and we can continue wiggling it, wiggle up and down. Look at that. How cool. We can also rotate it. Oh no. Big head, small body. How cute. Actually, it kind of looks like a ghost from here. Reset the pose. But yeah, I think JavaScript is a good one. If you want to get a programming job, I know at least in the US, the job market is starting to slow down. And actually, a lot of people are starting to get Rift. which is a new term that I personally have just learned, which means reduction in force, RIF, right? So RIF, rift, to make it past tense. So actually, I was actually kind of amused on my last project. Pretty much everyone on that team got sacked. So I guess I moved over to a new project just in time. And everyone got reassigned, I suppose, because no one wants to work with Jenkins anymore. Jenkins is used to be the one of the most popular CI/CD build systems in the world. Where CI/CD, we're learning all types of terms here on this show. CI/CD stands for continuous integration, continuous deployment, which is one of the easiest jobs to find a job for, because you don't actually need to be a real programmer. You just need to understand how I guess software integration works, aka just learn how Postman works and you'll be solid. I'm writing some JavaScript to modify widget to add timestamps to a Google Docs where it goes easy editing. I want to go back and clean up. Never heard of RIF. Hope everyone's all right. Well, I don't know. I mean, they'll be all right. Well, actually, no. They're probably, I don't know. One, they were on the client side, and two, I guess they were management. So eat the rich, etc., etc. Just want to make things with code rather than do programming under a company. I can understand that. I think I would also prefer to do that, but I also like being independent. I like not having to depend on other people for just simply surviving. Hello. Protoplasm. Thanks for making it. It's really nice. Just want to mention quick for 8.1, I had to turn up compression to resolve mesh glitching on Linux with NVIDIA. I think it was important. Blah, blah. Mobile side of a dev environment handy. Not sure if that's been reported before. I'm not sure what you're talking about, actually. So, have you filed an issue? I've never seen that, but I'm assuming that's probably related to question mark. I've seen it before. There's some sort of compression error that doesn't manifest normally, but I can totally find it. So is it related to give me 1 second. I'm filling in the dead air with just pointless rambling. You can have up to roughly 3 seconds of dead air until people start getting uncomfortable. So I'm just going to keep talking. All right, so does it have to do with this? Octahedral, yeah, this part, right? Yeah. Okay. I've always seen that, but I have never felt the need to fix it. But yeah, what is the compression option? So if I look at, these are in assets. I probably don't want to look at this. Or maybe I do. Look at duck. So I made the duck. Where is the compression stuff? How do you look at compression stuff? Is it here? Oh, it's this part, right? Octahedral compression. So I want to turn that off. Import GLTF scenes. So that's actually something I don't deal with. If it was something not on the VRM import side, that would be a lot easier. No, import GLTF scene. Is it one of these? I'm currently, by the way, thank you very much for trying out the program. Much appreciated. I am currently working on the rewrites, which should be a lot cooler. So this is what the current rewrite looks like, by the way. No longer have the weird dev UI, which I thought was more usable personally, but let me see. I started this just to show it off. But a lot of things have changed. That's pretty much it. Import GLTF scene. So that only works for VRM. So let's go into VRM. The new, I guess, architecture that I'm trying to go for is everything is loaded at runtime. So these are all broken, by the way. So import scene, import GLTF scene. Connect on Discord when I have my code tree handy. Oh baby, I do have a Discord, yeah. I guess you've already found it, but I guess for anyone in chat, there's a Discord. Also, there's a GitHub where I work on a bunch of other random stuff. If you're into Godot, whatnots, I do write a bunch of just random Godot libraries. So I have written a REPL for GD scripts. It's one of a kind. You won't find another one out there because the built-in expression class is not a REPL. Everything is hard-coded. Whereas mine does runtime compilation of GDScript into bytecode. And is also able to save states. How cool, how cool. And it's also integrated in this program. Oh, baby. Apropos of pretty much nothing at all. Look at that. So this works in exported mode and debug mode. So then you have your scene tree here. The only problem is that when you open up the REPL in debug mode, it does break your debugger. But it also gives you the ability to do this. So you can do get tree, roots, I don't know, get node, default runner. I think there's a lot of niceties that could be added. So this is default runner. So we can do return, get tree, get node, default runner, get child 0 probably, and then we can just queue free it, which is not something that you're able to do in just regular Godot, right? So check that out. Look at that. You know, I've made this scene disappear. My father was a shrinker. Something. I don't know. I've recently rewatched Batman, was it The Dark Knight? That's a great movie. Anyways, we'll get out of here. Yeah, so if you were to actually do that though, it does break a few things. But I suppose that's like to be expected. When you just delete random nodes, a lot of other things break. Yeah, but for whatever reason, I've somehow... It's not ingratiate. What's the opposite of ingratiate? Ingratiates. Yeah, so what's the opposite of ingratiates? Opposite of... Yeah, thank you, Google. Alienate? Whatever. The core maintainers at Godot don't seem to like any of my PRs, so... Whatever. That's why I do maintain my own Godot fork. So this is actually my own fork of Godot, which is why you have things like spouts. Look at this. It's beautiful. I wrote this myself. Whatnot. I don't know. It's one of those things where you just get like the feeling in the back of your head is like, oh, like this person. It's like someone has been talking smack and I have no idea what's going on. PR is short for pull request. So you go here, you can see pull requests, blah, blah. No, Glitch Phoenix. Still changes requested, by the way. They didn't resolve it, but I guess I also didn't check. Yeah. PR, pull requests. If you are more into GitLab, they're called MRs, which makes more sense because it's actually a merge request, not a pull request. Because someone is asking to merge something into your branch, they're not asking for you to pull their code into your branch. But I guess it's more of just a question of direction, right? Because they're asking, these pull requests are asking to merge something into the master branch, right? Whereas a pull request kind of implies that you're asking to pull their code into your branch. So the nomenclature is actually a bit wrong in terms of GitHub. Requesting changes to the engine project? Yeah, kind of, pretty much. They should be called merge requests, though. Merge request is more correct. Like, I think if you were to go into another repository and say, hey, I want this code, that would be a pull request. But if you, as a third party, contribute code, it should be called a merge request. But yeah. Yeah, there've been a few people. Like, I think this person's been one of the biggest ones. Zoo ten soup. I don't really know how to pronounce their name. Yeah, they actually increased the performance of whatever build. This build, I think this is the 8.1 build. They increased it by about 20%. Yeah, roughly. They in their pull request they showed metrics, and I was like, wow. Look at how much CPU you don't have to use anymore. Like, the application used to use like roughly 30%, and now it only used roughly 20%. So a 33% decrease in CPU utilization. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Or I suppose it's a 33% reduction, but actually it's 70%, roughly 77, or 66% of the previous CPU utilization. Percentages are weird like that. Zutan ten Zupa. They're German, like I'm guessing. Yeah, they are German, I think. Probably. I did creep on their profile a little bit. Whenever someone submits a pull request, I always look at their profile, just to make sure that they're not like a troll or something. Like, I know that one of these pull requests, like, I'm pretty sure like Ace Coder or 4CE Coder, I'm assuming it's Ace Coder, is a troll. From their issue history. It's one of those things, like, you know, you see it sometimes on Reddit, it's like, oh, this person's a troll, but, you know, you got to decide whether or not, you know, am I going to look really deeply into this person's internet history, or am I going to take their code at face value? And I say 9 times out of 10, you should not take someone's code at face value, especially if you don't know them in real life. And also, you're not getting paid for it. Yeah, we have face tracking working again in this application. Now, I just need to figure out why presets are still slightly borked. So this is the last thing I really need before I can start submitting this to the Godot 2022 showreel. It's Godot 2022 showreel. For whatever reason, I'm not. Oh, okay. Here we go. This is it. The good submissions open for the showreel. Should only be about 15 seconds, I think, maybe. Maybe. I think it's 15 seconds. I remember reading it at some point. So, I mean, it's pretty easy, right? So here's the plan: is we'll start from pretty much nothing. We'll start from the main menu. We'll go into, you know, run the scene. Boom. Go into tracker. Boom. We're here. Start the tracker. Break our necks. I'll need to fix that before the showreel. And I think also, if we apply translation, yeah, if we apply translation, I actually don't remember if that actually takes into effect or goes into effect immediately. Maybe I need to do, hold on. We can fix this. Is tracking. Maybe these don't. Hold on. Maybe this is more broken than I thought. And actually, I've accidentally broken this again. So hold on. So everything is being tracked more or less. These are also being tracked, right? So is tracking chest, collar, neck, yes. Tracking. This is just a ton of micro bugs I need to figure out. Break our neck, that's fine. Oh, so these are not, it's not taking into account the additional bones, but it is taking into account the translation. So you might have noticed that if we turn off apply translation, the head doesn't move, right? But if we turn on apply translation, oh, hello, welcome back, Nova, hello. So if we turn on apply translation, this actually takes into account my head position based off of an offset. So that's why my head can kind of do this when I kind of wiggle over side to side on my desk. Whereas if I turn off translation, head stays static, which is actually what I use for VRM models. I'm trying to remember what translate means in GDScript terms. I know it's different from what's used in Unity. Translate means that you are manipulating, well, translate just means that you're manipulating your vector 3 origin position. Yeah. Oh, hello, Casper. Yeah. So we can make the duck wiggle or make it not wiggle. I think I'm made a few mistakes in how I have the bones tracked, because since I have translation on, these bones should also be wiggling. So if I go back to the original one, or I guess the current stable version, so we turn this off. Go back to here. This lady is not a duck, but you know, you can kind of figure it out. Actually, I think I can turn on, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. We'll switch back to the duck. So the duck actually has translation turned on, and then we can also track collar and neck. So these all take effect immediately, and yeah. Can your tracking handle jawbones? It does not. There's no, well, it can actually. I just need to figure out which points constitute a jawbone. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I expect. You might notice the duck looks a bit more fluid as opposed to just the head stretching. Now it's like I guess the upper chest region, which is what I want. This looks a lot better, by the way, in my opinion. But when you use it with an anime model, it looks really bad. Because you need to set like specific damping values for each one of them. Otherwise, the anime model just kind of like deforms in place and it looks really, really weird. Which, you know, if you're into that. But yeah, it is possible for me to track your jaw values. I just need to figure out which jaw value it maps back to. So if we go to OpenSea Face here, we have just a ton of points. So these are the points 3D. Trying to imagine what a humanoid model would look like. Well, this is a humanoid model, by the way. That's using my custom lip sync thing written in Rust, talking to Godot via GD native. Anyways, we have points 3D. These are comments all copied from the example Unity implementation provided by Amelia VT, who is the original author of VC Face. Found here. How cool. So they have an example, blah, blah, Unity. This is what I kind of based the initial implementation off of. So there's some points. So if I could figure out which ones correspond to your chin, I could, or maybe not your chin, your jaw, I could figure out how to map things to your jaw. VC Face has a jawbone support, so I wasn't sure if it was brought over. Yeah, well, that's the hard part, is I need to figure out what points 3D maps back to. Because if you go down here, if you're, you know, the code is all open source, by the way. This is super sus. Very, very suspect. So our right gaze is a quaternion, and then we create a new transform, rotate it so it's looking at points 3D 66 minus points 3D 68. Rotate it across the up vector, and we grab the basis and then we normalize it. So can I track your jaw? Yes. Do I know how to do it? Not really. Like, it's not hard, right? To look at the actual Python code and then try to figure out what's going on. Because it's Python, right? Python is pretty human readable. I suppose this is the hard part. is like, okay, so this is the packet that we receive from OpenSea Face, the face tracker that I'm currently using, right? And so, you know, D, that's some sort of double, which is the time variable. So that's what I've mapped that back to, which is, you know, you can see that. So time SPB, which is my little helper class. Stream peer buffer, which takes in an integer, etc. Integer new, blah, blah. We seek, get the double, which is your time. We grab your ID, which is the next thing, which you can find here, FID. Look at that. Which is actually how I mapped things out initially. You know, who said programming is hard? Of course, well, who said programming is hard as long as you're a native English speaker, of course. So yeah, could I figure out which one corresponds to your jaw? Yes. Do I want to? No. You know, figuring out how to do right gaze and left gaze for the like eye tracking, because like eye tracking, you might notice, is actually pretty accurate if you've used it yourself. And also if you turn off raw eye rotation, because a lot of VRM models actually have a constrained, I guess, eye rotation, if that makes any sense. So they have predefined limits for how far you can rotate your eyes. Whereas, I guess, if you have direct access to them all, like I do, you can just say, you know what, just use the whatever, just use whatever, just use what the face tracker gives back to you. So, could you use jaw? Yes. I have the data. Do I want to figure it out? It's going to be very painful, so probably not. There's programming in other languages other than English. I know that there's like a Filipino version of, was it Java or C#, where everything is translated. I think you can also do, like, it's not hard to translate C or C++ into other languages, because then you can just turn everything into a define, right? So instead of, say, you know, you can do, in C++, you would do like a define. I suppose this isn't very visible, right? But this is the log. We don't want to have the log. Yeah, sure. Reload me. So in C++, what you can do is like do a define. How do you do functions in C++? Oh, yeah. Functions in C++ are, yeah, what you could do is like class is whatever. I actually don't know how to say class in any other language, huh? Does it matter if the eyes are bones versus blend shapes? So it does matter, but for a normal user, probably not. So I assume that your eyes are bones, but if you set your eyes as blend shapes, they're going to break in this program because I have not accounted for that yet. I also know that bones are a lot more performant than blend shapes. Yeah, because at least with bones, what you can do is that you, or at least for any 3D model that's rigged, bones are actually processed by your GPU, right? So you benefit from the GPU acceleration, whereas if you use blend shapes are CPU bound, so you have a big blocker there in terms of performance. Yeah, but your eyes are bones, I'm sorry to say. I know in VC Face, blend shapes are very shaky, fast moving. Well, actually, check this out. Look at that. So we can have this as well, right? So if I turn off interpolation, we can also be very jittery like that. So then we can then interpolate, we can interpolate gaze, so it's a bit smoother, something like that. So you might notice it looks a lot less floaty, if that makes sense. Whereas we can do it like this, where everything is super floaty all the time, right? So I do that because I'm actually only tracking at 24 FPS. Actually, I'm tracking at 24 FPS. I usually track at 12, but whatever. basically, the closer you get to 60 FPS tracking, the smoother you'll get, the more snappy things will feel. But then also you'll get a little bit of jitter because I think there's like the natural error in face tracking in addition to just your like human jitter. Like humans jitter a lot, actually. Yeah, like I think like if you were to look at yourself in real life, you would kind of realize that you kind of like wiggle. Most people wiggle a little bit when they're doing like literally anything at all. Right? It's only the psychopaths that just are completely still. So like if you were to like get into an elevator and like watch, don't look at someone, but like, you know, give them the old side eye. Look at the other people in the elevator, and you kind of notice that everyone in the elevator is just kind of wiggling, right? And so that shows up a bit more on a face tracker because the face tracker has nothing else to do, right? Anyways, presets. Let's redial in. Make that point of stand perfectly still in elevators from now on. No, what you should do is like stand perfectly still in like any. Like if you're doing like a public speaking thing, if you're giving a speech, just stand perfectly still and notice how uncomfortable everybody gets. Because when most people, when they're giving like a public speech or they're like standing in front of a camera, they'll wiggle a little bit. You should also notice that. Most people wiggle a lot. It's only when they don't wiggle that you notice that they're not wiggling. I'm gonna notice people are wiggling. Everybody's wiggling, dude. It's string theory, look it up. We're all made of strings if you go down deep enough. And these strings, they wiggle. They do be wiggling. Alright, so here, I need to create the presets. And I also need to ignore my own presets. So here's the presets, right? So for all models by default, I load in a, you know, if there's no preset for you already, I load in a default preset for you. Or I create a new default preset for you, right? So here, I should be doing blah, blah, blah. If config name is equal to initial page, then we'll just continue. That's pretty easy. Let's do this one more time. Once more with feeling. Should only be duck. Yep, there we go. So now we need to just display every single piece of information that we have that's relevant. So we go to model config. There's your config name. So we add page, create page, blah, blah. Label. Okay, so this is where we start doing stuff. So config values. Let me see. So there's no label to add now. Actually, there should be the, you know, model name label. Text is equal to the page name, just in case. Also, this needs to be model name label align is equal to label align center. Yeah. List add child model name label. Yeah, there we go. Other things that you really need here. So I'm just trying to re-implement everything that that basically took me a year to implement. I've been trying to do it in about a week. So we have the config name, yeah, the description, yeah, hotkey, yeah, hotkey actually is still there. Remember to port it, and then notes, and then is default dirty? I don't remember if I actually need that, But a lot of these are just like H boxes, right? H boxes with a specific type of thing attached to them. So create inputs box. Why not? So string is default dirty. Yes, is default dirty. I was about to make a very lewd joke, but I'm just gonna. You know what? We're just gonna leave it at that. I apologize. There's a lot of things that you could do with that. I'm just gonna come clean with it. I was about to make like an eating ass kind of joke, but let's not. Sorry. Initial value. You know, as some may say, eating the poo-poo. I'm not really into that. That's something I can never really imagine is like, whoa, what kind of person is eating, like, one, what kind of person like publicly admits to like eating butts? And two, what kind of person like does that but then doesn't commit themselves to like an enema beforehand, or has their partner commit themselves to an enema beforehand? You know, I suppose I've never done it, so maybe it's like a transcendental experience. I feel like it's not something I want to find out, though. I suppose I also, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I don't know why that popped into my head, though. Got me started. Yeah, now we're just off onto the completely lewd path. Prepare yourself. Prepare your butts for eating. Sorry. Programming. That's what we're here for. We're here for programming. Label. Stretch size flags horizontal. Control. Size, expand, fill. I was trying so hard not to clip that. You know, maybe if I was a bit more eloquent, it would be more pleasing to clip. I understand that. You know, I was thinking about it like yesterday. I was looking over the, I guess, the streamers I normally listen to during the day, because most of them are pretty, they go on for a long time. And also are during the workday, so I apologize, no, but I haven't been able to pop into your streams recently because usually I'm busy at nights, either sleeping or drinking. I don't know. I feel like all the streamers that I've followed for a long time, they have a pretty good cadence about them. That one makes them very clippable, but also two, just very pleasant to listen to as well. You know? I acknowledge that that's something I myself need to work on. You know, I think my cadence is okay. But probably the bigger problem is that when I talk, I tend to make like really big pauses between every single, I don't know, like every single thought, right? Because it's a, I don't know, it's like a speaking pattern that I learned during school, is that if you are about to say, so like, you know, any of those kind of filler words, you should instead just not say anything at all, and then just kind of eat 1 to 2 seconds of empty space, right? As long as you don't allow for like 3 seconds of empty space. 3 seconds is when people start to get uncomfortable. if you're trying to keep up like a running dialogue of what you're trying to do. Anyways, by the way, I'm trying to think of what to put here. So initial value, actually align, edit, text is equal to string, initial value. Said it before, I think you're very pleasant to listen to. Oh, thank you, thank you. But I think there's a lot of things I could do about my cadence that would make it even better to listen to, right? It's all cadence. Or even just like enunciation, right? Like I've noticed a lot of the streamers I like to listen to have a very pleasing enunciation to them, which tends to actually be more of like a Toronto accent, which is kind of weird. Like people who properly enunciates most parts of a word. Like me, naturally, I don't usually enunciate every part of a word. Like I enunciate, right? If you say it properly, you would say enunciate. But when I pronounce it, I usually just say enunciate. You know, you kind of roll most of the hard sounds together because that's just where I'm from. People speak like that. Something like that. Config name. Hold on. Hey. When you ask the program while speaking, so pauses are to be expected. What accent is that? Well, I'm not sure actually. I think in a standard American accent, you don't pronounce like in pronounce, you don't have a hard s at the end. You don't have I'm trying to think. Like the last T in a word, you don't pronounce the last T. So start, you know, start is pronounced start. You don't say start. Something like that. It's all the small things. Once you start listening to or once you start becoming more cognizant of it, it's like, oh, you know, there's a lot of people who have more of like an American tinge to their accent, or not American tinge. It's more of like a proper tinge, because it's not something that I guess most people do. Like even from the UK, the UK is kind of weird actually. Never mind. I should not speak about the UK. In the UK, people have whatever accents. They have all kinds of weird accents. So where's config name coming from? There is no config name. Oh, but is config name? Oh no, yeah, that's fine. Input box. I think I see. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He says while, you know, just smile and nod. Maybe he'll shut up at some point. You know, I've actually had that, I've been given that piece of feedback, actually, where I was explaining something, and then after the entire meeting, I had a coworker come up to me and was like, yeah, you know, like, everyone in the room was just, like, agreeing with you just to get you to shut up, right? I was like, oh. Oh. I thought I was doing a pretty good job, but as it turns out, no one had any idea what the heck I was talking about. So that's also something I try to be aware of, is when people agree too much, I'm like, that's not how I talk. Usually I go off on tangents that are very hard to reconcile back to the main topic, even though technically everything is related, more or less. Oh, this comes from the model config, right? Yeah. Model config name, yeah. Well, actually, yeah, this always gives me back a config. So I'll just grab this. Yeah, something like that. And then we can just do this for every single one of these things. So these map back one to one. Oh, please don't show I want to listen. Oh, baby. Thank you, thank you. Please massage my ego some more. But no, I don't know. I was never really the best in my class of... I've never gone to like a real public speaking class. I did take a presentation class in university on how to give a good presentation, which is mostly just information on how to, you know, here's how you make a really good PowerPoint. Here's how you make sure everyone's still interested. And then pretty much the most important point about how to keep people interested in what you're talking about is, you know, step number one, give them the slides beforehand. If you don't give them the slides beforehand, they're just gonna completely zone out. Too small. Your keyboard makes some super pleasant clicks. Oh, thank you, thank you. They are using... What are they using? They're using Holy Panda switches. They're not my favorites, but I think they do sound really nice. I prefer to use... There's another one. I have them somewhere. So I am a normie, though. I do buy most everything from drop.com. I'm a normie. I apologize. So I use Holy Pandas. Oh, I use Halos. Yeah, my favorite are Halos. I like how those feel, but Holy Pandas sound better. But Halo, I think I use Halo Trues, I think, or whichever one is the stronger one. Or those are the ones I prefer. I want to build another tiny keyboard though that uses linear switches, because I do have a macro pad that uses linear switches, and it's pretty good, I think. It's just felt like filler classes, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a lot of classes I took in university were just useless. But at least the presentation class I use, I use most of the time, I think. Maybe not. What am I looking for? Yeah, at least the presentation classes, I do talk every day, and it does help for the most parts, because you do remember some of the more important strategies for how to keep things interesting, I think. Oh, this HBox does not need to be expand fill, but the label inside of it does. This is where I would like to have a lambda function, by the way, if I had them. Label side, well. Another tiny keyboard, you'll have a whole key, yeah. You know, actually, it won't actually add up to an entire keyboard, though. Because an entire keyboard is about 120... I think a full-size keyboard is 120 keys, whereas the tiny keyboard that I've been using is only 48. So I still won't have a full-size keyboard, even if I get another keyboard. Somewhat ironically enough, yeah. Because a full-size keyboard, one, has the number row, and also has a numpad, and also has the function keys. Which, if you don't like think about it too hard, that's a ton of keys. So default for model label. What are we using here? This is default for model. Default for model add child. So I'm doing this one separately because this is the only odd man out. So this is a default for model toggle. So this is a check button. Yeah. So the toggle set press no signal needs to be config. Is default for model, I suppose. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's exactly why I loaded in the config in the first place. From model to default for model toggle. Grab that default for model, add child. Grab this. List child. You have a 3/4 a keyboard? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I suppose it is 3/4. I mean, I do have a pretty fast typing speed, all things considered. I really shouldn't be showing this up, but let's see. We go to monkey type. What is my typing speed? I don't know. We'll do 50. Oh, but this is English 10K as well. This is a ton of words. I don't know. Oh, we can always try. Well, let's do it the default. Oh no, I'm already messing up. The hardest part is pressing space. And also the fact that I don't touch type properly is probably also messing me up. Ugh, only 83. That's fine. 90% accuracy though. So imagine if I was 100% accurate, I could be so much faster. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's just like an IQ test though. So the keyboard words per minute calculation. If you really practice for it, you can get up there. Like I've said this multiple times before, but I do max out at about 120 if I spend a lot of time practicing and also doing it on the easiest one. Which, to be fair, is what a lot of people do when they do like the speed typing races. They always use the easiest difficulty. It's like, why are you using the easiest difficulty? I want to see someone like type a vicissitude very, very fast. How do you spell vicissitude, by the way? Vicissitude, yeah. To score, just gotta get a score, yeah. But like, if you were to like tell somebody like, spell vicissitude, like type out vicissitude, I think a lot of people would have trouble typing that, just from sight. Whereas I can do it. Yeah, I don't really remember how to spell it. How do you spell vicissitude? How the heck did I spell it the first time? That's amazing. I wasn't even thinking about it. It came naturally. But I think a lot of the speed that comes from typing is just from typing words that you know how to spell, right? Or the words that you've typed a million times before. But when you're given, a typing test filled with words that you've never typed before, I think that's the real challenge. What even is that word? Doesn't it mean like unfortunate? Like some sort of misfortune? Yeah. A change of circumstances or fortune, typically one that is unwelcome or unpleasant. Yeah, basically misfortune. Yeah. See, I know things. I don't know why I know it though. It just came up to me and I was like, oh, you know what's a weird word? Vicissitude. Oscillate, that's also a good one. Vacillate, also a good one. I don't remember the difference between oscillate and vacillate though. What is the difference between oscillate versus, yeah, vacillate. I spelled oscillate wrong. So oscillate is swing back and forth with a regular rhythm, while vacillate is to sway unsteadily. Now you know. The more you know. I learned a new word today. Yeah. I think oscillate is pretty good. It's a pretty good one. Vacillate is one that people don't know as much. Vicissitude is, what the heck? Go outside, touch some grass, nerd. Alright, presets. Ah! Okay, model name label. Non-existent function add child in base VBox container. Huh? What do you mean? Invalid call, add child in base VBox container. Oh, I misspelled it. Yeah. Oh, geez. There's too many people. Oh, and thank you very much for redeeming a hydrate. I think I probably need to update this at some point as well. I guess people don't jump very well when they are super packed together. Thank you for redeeming a hydrate though. Let's drink some water. I feel like I'm forgetting how to drink water. Whenever I drink water nowadays, it just goes down the wrong hole. Which probably means I should go see a doctor, but I'm not going to. All right, let's see. Open CFace. Start this. It doesn't really matter, but it's just nice. I need to figure out a better way for setting your initial face tracking offsets. Putting raw water in the wrong hole. You know. I think someone has ass eating on the mind today, on the brain today. It wasn't me this time. Anyway, check that out. Look at that. Oh, I see. So this needs to be stretched. Let's ignore the fact that we were talking about ass eating where we were talking about that. Let me see. It was you. You said it first. You prove it. It wasn't me. There's no video record. What are you talking about? The only way there would be a video record is if I were somehow streaming this live to other people over the internet. That would be very strange, wouldn't it? Anyways, look at that. It's beautiful. Look at that. So this is our config file. I still need to add in the buttons for switching between different presets, but I think that's pretty good. I think that looks a lot better than how this looks, which is kind of stinky, you know? I mean, it kind of works, right? It's roughly the same thing, except this, you know, this is what people are more used to, right? So you have your presets. This one is just preset, and you select presets if you got them. Save doesn't do anything just yet because it's not hooked up, but it's not hard to do because all I would need to do is replace the current model config with a new one that I can just create on the fly. And then also adding new keys on the fly is also pretty easy because that's actually how the bones thing works. As well as I scan your entire model, find all bones, and then add a new key, nest them as necessary, and, you know, Bob's your uncle, etc., etc. So that's pretty good, I think. Default for model, I still need to figure out the logic for that, because logically, and I think what is actually written into the, or at least the old version here, but the old version also does not respect that, is that if there's only one config file for a model, that model is now the default. I don't know. I need to rethink how default for model works, because like it still works as expected. I just don't. There's some intricacies that I'm missing for some reason. But yeah, I mean that's pretty good. Presets kind of work. I need to find a different 3D model because I don't have any other 3D models that are easily loadable in. I suppose if I were to fix the VRM scene, that would help a lot because then I can load in a bunch of the other reference models I have. Let me see. Let's just push stuff for now. So I push test GD. Oh, we can get rid of those. So RM test GD test text scene. I think that's fine. Hit this with a really quick git restore on the guts editor config. Also, that reminds me, right before we push, run all. No, that's pretty good. A few expected errors, also one unexpected error. Yeah, that's fine. Hopefully this should pass CI. So I'll hit this with a git add all. So implements presets or generates presets or presets UI items correctly. What else did I do? Fix OpenC face tracking. Go ahead and push that. So let's keep an eye, at the very least, on the CI build, because I'm interested as to how that's really panning out. I head off, work on fixing the bugs in my game agent entry. Thanks for streaming and hearing my silliness. No problems. No problem. Thanks for hanging out. Much appreciated, Nova. Good luck on finishing your game agent entry. Don't feel obligated to stick around, of course. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. All green. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm also about to head out, actually. I'm overtime. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time, working on this again. I'm trying to get to a place where I can actually record a demo video so I can submit this stuff to the Godot Showreel for 2022. That would be really cool. But yeah, you can find this project at Virtual Puppet Project /VPupper. Everything is on GitHub, free and open source, MIT license, etc., etc. I'm nearing completion on a 0.90 version, which should be a lot more stable and also a lot more, I guess, maintainable, of course. Yeah, so there's my GitHub, you know. Give me stars, that's all I'm in it for. If you have any questions or want to discuss development, whatnots, I have a Discord there. So you can join that. You know, no obligations to hang around, etc., etc. I also make video games sometimes, so if you want to follow me on Twitch, I do real game dev sometimes. What else do I usually say in my outro spiel? Can't remember. Let's find someone to raid. Is Nova actually... I don't remember. Was Nova gonna stream? Is Nova streaming? We can raid Nova. Oh no. I've revealed that I don't actually have headphones plugged into my streaming computer. Nova is almost starting. All right. I guess I can stall here, and we can push people towards you. Thank you for talking in the third person. Ewan also appreciates talking in third person because it makes Ewan not feel as weird when they talk in third person. But I'm not sure if you can you raid people if they aren't streaming? I don't remember. Because usually how I choose my raid targets is find the first person I'm following and then just send it. Hold on. But yeah, VPupper, etc., etc. I'm waiting. I got nothing else. All I got is this. But I'm not even a real girl. Like 1 minute. Ah! It's unfortunate because no one else is doing game dev stuff. So I got no one else to raid. So I could, you know, we could also look through the random Godot stuff. Godot engine. How many other... I guess there's also Jitspo. Jitspo is pretty good. I think Jitspo has been working on like the same game for a while now as well, which is, you know, that's fair. I've been working on this for like a year. So, potato, really. I'm on. All right. Get ready to get sense-ish. Well, I don't know. Well, let's keep refreshing until we're actually there. You never know. Some things about these software backends, not always the most reliable thing. Nova Liminal. Let's click on your name and just copy and paste it, just so I don't get it wrong. Will it let me raid you if you aren't actually streaming? Let's try it. Yeah, channel is intended for mature audiences, so yeah, I guess you'll start off with somebody, you know, very good brand marketing power. Dropping into my chat right before as you are here for a few hours as well. But dropping into my chat and then pushing everyone towards you when you start streaming. Oh, baby. You know, I've actually, I'm one of the bigger streamers I like to follow as well. Small Ants 1, or maybe they just Small Ant now. I think they have one of their channel redeem points be like choose who we raid, and they were telling a story how like one person who has redeemed that the most times is a streamer themselves, and that's how they grew, is that they just redeemed that, you know, choose who we raid thing, and then they start streaming as soon as the, you know, the bigger channel stops streaming, and then they redeem the choose who we raid whatever. So they push like all like 5,000 people over to their channel. It's a good strategy, I think, if you're good at doing that kind of thing. Anyways, if you're already going, hold on. Yeah, all right, get sense. Join the Discord, give me stars on GitHub. There's a GitHub, there's a Discord. That's pretty much it. Get sense, goodbye.